One of the basic principles of sustainability is to use what you have. I'm Ken Greenberg. I'm an architect and urban designer. And what we're going to ask people to do this morning is to walk through this part of the world as it is today, and as we're doing it, imagine and describe this amazing transformation that's going to happen over the next few decades.
This is an overall plan of the mapping of waterfront Toronto projects across the water's edge. We want to bring the waterfront back to the city.
Now, I want to just very briefly take you back a little over 100 years before we go forward. Before this channel was created by the Toronto Harbour Commission in the first and second decade of the 20th century, this whole area that we know as the Portlands, about 1,000 acres, was the largest wetland on the Great Lakes. So here we are in a completely different period as we go into the 21st century. What Toronto is actually undertaking on the Toronto waterfront is one of the largest, most ambitious transformations of a piece of obsolescent land in the heart of a city to be undertaken anywhere. There will be 20 to 25,000 people living here. There will probably be 5,000 to 8,000 people working here, new parkland, and through an effort that we're going to be describing to people this morning, we're creating a river estuary in 100 acres of parkland coming right into the harbor, providing flood-proofing, providing great amenities, taking people, connecting them from the whole set of trails up the Don River down to Lake Ontario Park, and a whole set of new parklands that's being opened up around the outer harbor. Lining this whole area from Parliament Street, picking up where East Bayfront ends, and across here will be a major new neighborhood. This neighborhood will have about 22 city blocks. The blocks are relatively small. There are lots of pedestrian connections. Mixed use. There are going to be people living and working here. There's a new LRT line that's going to run right down the extension of Queens Quay that will link down across Cherry Street and run right through this neighborhood and connect over to Filmport and Commissioner Street and out to the East End. And then in the parkland itself, the 100 acres of parkland, there are a whole series of habitat types, of recreational areas, of wetlands. All of these things are interconnected.
I live in South Riverdale, or Riverside, and I'm very excited about the project for a number of reasons. One is that I think it's about reconnecting the city and communities back to waterfront. I'm very excited that it's going to be creating more open spaces and parks in a much more of a natural way.
I think this is one of the greatest things that has happened in our city lately. This can be one of the great public spaces in the city. This can be our Lachine Canal or our Rideau Canal if you think of Ottawa and Montreal. Just as we've learned that ecology is so complex when we think of nature, the human ecology is just as complex, and we're integrating that complex human ecology with the complex natural ecology along the river.